Well, I recently, just today, got challenged by a good friend to see if I could build a liquid accordion in Oxygen Builder, similar to something that he'd seen in Elementor. He wanted to see if I could do it without doing any fancy code, and I think I've got a pretty good result. So I thought I'd give you a quick tutorial on what I've done. So let's get stuck into it. Okay, in this tutorial today, what we're going to try and do is achieve this liquid accordion effect in Oxygen without any code or anything else. Now this is something that I found on CodePen. Yes, there's a million ways you could do this in Oxygen with copying and pasting the custom CSS, but we're going to do this in a way so we don't need to use any code. Alright, I've opened up Oxygen here and you'll see that I've got two sections. This first one just has a heading in it. The next one is where we're going to build this custom accordion. I've got nothing in there. This accordion could be full width, but I've gone with a fixed page width here. I'm going to use percentages, so if you did want to make this full width, it would work still. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to add is the superbox. Now I'll put that in here. If you don't know what the superbox is, it's essentially a pre-made asset in Oxygen, which is set up as a custom rollover. So it's got your primary or your initial sort of state, and then your secondary or rollover state. And it's just a quick way to create some of this stuff. Yes, you could use your own divs or set something up yourself, but this has some settings on here, and we want to make this quick and easy and make it so we don't need to put any custom CSS to do this liquid accordion effect. I think this is a great way to do it. You can change the way that you're looking at the editor, or sorry, at the superbox in the editor. I like to look at it as if it's hovered. So now I'm seeing both states, essentially what's in the secondary area or the rollover area. You can change to see if you want to see just the pre-rolled over state, for example, or the primary only or the secondary only areas. But I'm going to leave this as if it's hovered. You can change some of the settings in here, for example, you know, where stuff slides on, the slide direction, if it goes from top to left, or if it's in view or out of view to start off with, your opacity on hover, initial opacity, etc. Stuff like your scale. So for example, if we go to the secondary element and change the scale to say 2, and then go back to live, you'll see that that's what it changes to. Now, I'm going to keep everything standard here, so we'll just leave this as 1. So you can change that scale here. I'm going to leave this just as standard. The only thing that I will do here is change this so that that rollover has a little bit more contrast there, so we can see that a little better. Again, I'm going to make it so I'm looking at it in the as if hovered state. And before I get too far ahead of myself, what I'm going to do is give a couple of custom classes here. So my custom accordion, and with this heading, I'm going to go heading 1, and I'm going to want some text in here. So we'll go text. We'll get some lorem ipsum. Copy and paste this. Put that in. I'm going to want that to be white, maybe a little smaller. And I'm going to want to align this all to the left. There we go. Now with this text box, I'm going to be a little bit fussy with this. I'm going to give my own custom class to this. I'm going to say my custom accordion, custom accordion text. And now that I've got these here, I'm going to start doing a couple of things. I'm going to do one thing first, and it's just to show you something, which is to put a fixed height on this. So I'll go to size and go to height and say 500 pixels. Okay, now we've got a set height on here. You're going to notice that in this primary section, that background image isn't fully covering the area that we want. And that's because it's not actually a background image. We've got a normal image in here. So I'm going to delete that out and put a background image in. But before I do that, I'll do a couple of other things to this area here. So I'm going to want some padding on this, say 30 pixels on every edge. That should do it. And I also want to align this to the bottom, so we've got something a little more similar to this here. What I'll do as well is I'll duplicate this here. So we've got a couple. And you'll notice that what I want with this, so that it doesn't do this, is I need to set it up as flexbox. So I'm going to do that now. And we'll align this to the top. I'm going to add 4 of these in. So now I'm going to start playing with some of this stuff. But before I do, I'm going to show you something. Actually, let's do this. With this superbox, we've got the custom class set up here. I'm going to go to advance, and in the size and spacing, I'm going to add 4. So I'm going to set this to 25%. So that's what that's like here. And again, I'm going to go to superbox primary and show it as if it's live. And you can see some of the stuff starting to happen. But let's get rid of this image. And we'll put this in, and I'll get rid of this one in here to delete the image. And we'll go to this primary state here, and we'll put in a background image. So if I go to background, browse, and we find this image here that I've already uploaded. Do some standard stuff, make that cover, no repeat, and go 50% left and top. So 50% top and then 50% left, and then we know that that image is going to be centered in the middle perfectly and looking good. So I'll just delete this one. Actually, I don't need that one, and I'm going to make my 4 duplicate. So we've got these. I'll quickly, while I'm here, just change the text for each one on this heading. Heading 2. Heading 3. Heading 4. And then also with all of these, with the background images, I'll just quickly change these. So we'll go browse. That's the second one. Find that third one. And then find that last one. Okay, so we've got some of the stuff set up, but it's still not doing, some of the things that we want, the liquid part. So let's have a look at that. We've got this 25% set up, and one of the cool things with Oxygen is you can get to stuff like pseudo classes. You can create your own, you can do befores and afters, but in this situation, I want to get to the hover. So we'll look at this hover state for a second, and we'll go to advance and set the size and spacing to say 600 pixels. And get out of that hover state. And you can see when we hover over that, it's going to 600 pixels. Maybe we want to go a little wider, so we'll go 700 pixels, get out of that hover state. And you can see it's doing that, but we don't have that nice liquid fluid feel. So what we can do here is go back to again, so we'll make sure we've got the superbox selected, my custom accordion, and go to effects, and we'll change, so we've got a transition on here, and maybe say 0.3, and there you go. We've got a nice effect here. You've got something weird going on with this text that I noticed, and like I said before, I kind of thought this was going to happen, and you could set it so that it was the full width, but actually when I look at this, I don't want the text to be that wide in this situation. So now I'm going to select this text in this setting. Actually, I'll make it so we can go to as if hovered. So we can see this text here. I've got that selected. I'll make sure I've got my custom accordion text selected, and I'll go to advanced size and spacing, and I'll put like fixed widths on this. So if I say 200 pixels on here, then when we roll over it, it's going to have a fixed size, and I'm not going to have that sort of problem. Now maybe I should have done that with these headings as well, but let's have a quick look. I'm going to save this, and we'll look at the live site for a second. So there is a scenario where that heading is going a little weird. So we could do the same thing on that heading with putting the same class, for example, and calling it, was it my custom accordion text? And so put these on all of these with that width, and go to heading, my custom accordion text. What are we doing? My custom accordion text, and last one, my custom accordion text, and that should have, there we go, that's fixed that sort of state. I'll get out of this, so we're not looking at the hover mode, we're looking at live mode, and we've got it working exactly how we want. So I'll save that and refresh this live version, and that's doing absolutely exactly what we want. So that's it. I'd love to hear your feedback. If you've got any thoughts, any comments, any suggestions, let me know. But thank you for watching. Hopefully that's helped. Thanks, guys.